she had herself an ace. And Graf came back strong with the reply.
And now set point for Graf on the Graf serve. Listen to him. Game and first set to Graf in 48 minutes. Set of tennis won by Steffi Graf, 8 points to 6 in a tiebreak. I want to now turn my microphone over to the fiery one, Fred Stolle. Fiery.
Thank you, Tony, and thanks for looking after the time that I was out playing the senior doubles final, and unfortunately Muscles and I lost that to Fiol and Orantes. But what a first set this has been, and of course the men's singles first semi-final, that was a terrific one. But this, you don't see too many women's finals that are played to this caliber, and the fact that there were no service breaks right through that opening set, and it was decided in a tiebreaker, 8 points to 6, says a lot for these two young women. And Seles thought she had the ace, didn't get it, and finally lost the set 8-6. Be interesting to see whether she can come back now.
Yeah, this second set is going to be very indicative of just what both of these players are made of. Graf has not shown any intimidation whatsoever, unlike all of the other opponents that have faced Monica Seles in her comeback. Monica showed up in Toronto, her very first tournament, where 7 of the top 10 players had entered, and none of them got in Monica's way. She played Amanda Kutzer in the final, who had beaten Graf. Sanchez Vicaria went out early. Pierce, Novotna. The highest ranked player that Monica played and beat there was Anke Huber, ranked 10 in the world.
Pulled it wide. And you don't see that often from Steffi. Flick the racket up in the air and say, well, I possibly could have made that. It's difficult for Graf to make those shots because of the very late preparation that she has on the forehand. And if Seles can get good solid ground strokes deep into that forehand corner, then she can normally win the point if she's got Graf in trouble. But if you give it time to hit it like that, time to prepare and go for it. Both these ladies hitting the ball exceptionally crisp today. It's really been a first-class match. 30 all.
Well, Seles, to correct myself, had beaten Sabatini as well in Canada.
One in love.
Yeah, and Graf beat her 4 and 6 here.
A couple of those two-fisted backhands costed dearly at the end of the tiebreaker. That one long, so it's 40-30 to Graf. Steffi didn't like that ball. She may have thought that was a little soft, but I think it was just the backhand. I think the more these two play against one another, Betsy, I feel that Graf is going to have to learn to come over that backhand a little
Absolutely.
more.
I mean, she's got to be able to play her backhand down the line.
She's done it on a few occasions, but at this stage, she's not really confident with the shot. She's been practicing it, though, for the last 2 years in her repertoire. It's sort of come in, but very rarely. And I think if she plays against Seles, she's going to be forced to play that shot a lot more often. Can't just retreat to the baseline all the time.
Yeah, I mean, that is the biggest difference between these two when they play each other. The fact that Graf can hit her forehand both down the line and cross court, and really can't hit her backhand down the line. She can slice it down the line with not a lot on it. But Graf has been serving exceptionally well here today.
Yep.
High percentage of first serves. 76. She served 6 aces. Only 2 double faults. Oops.
Oops, there you go. Again, yeah. So that's 3 double faults. That nearly got her into trouble in the first set.
Serving a double fault at 5-all in tiebreak.
That one there, the late preparation and just the pace of shot on that return from Seles. She just stepped in and smacked it.
This is the first break point that Seles has had a look at.
Pulled it wide. Now we've been worried about the match play that Monica Seles has had. She's had a very easy time of it in the Canadian Open. Only lost about 11 games and hasn't been threatened here at the Open until today. And you just wonder if she's got enough gas in the tank to go 3 sets.
That's the big question mark. Novotna stretched her. Novotna had a couple of set points in the quarters in the first set and should have went away in the second.
First set in this match took 48 minutes. That's about regulation time for the match for these two as the 2 weeks of the US Open has progressed. Seles just taking the time, walking away there, making Graf wait. So there's something going on behind in the crowd way up that is distracting both players. We get a lot of line judges. You can hear somebody in the crowd there calling that out. The lines judge did not, and then the next one was long. So
there's so little between these two. Just looking at the statistics of the first set, they're very, very close in winners. 18 for Graf, 16 for Seles, 14 on forced errors for Graf, 18 for Seles. So Graf is she's balanced her winners better than Seles. It's still pretty close numbers. When Seles gets a chance to have a real swing at a return of serve, which hasn't been often because Graf has been serving so well, she does something with it. This is the second break point in this game.
Great quality again, so close to the lines. But Seles had no question about that one. The crowd did have a little bit, but the first set, the serving percentages of both these women at 76% for Graf and 79% for Seles. That's just fabulous. So you don't get a look at too many second serves to do what Seles has done a couple of times since Graf has missed a few first serves. Let's see if she jumps all over this one. There it is again. That sets it up. that pace of shot, if he can get it down there and get a short reply anywhere near there, well, Seles can go either way.
Yeah, that's what's so tough about it, is that Seles can take that and go cross court, and she can hit it equally hard with the same amount of accuracy down the line.
Break point.
Number 3.
And Graf starting to miss a few first serves. Same thing again. Attack the second serve, rip the second shot. Break of serve, Seles. First time in the match. She leads 1-love. Second is returned to the US Open. But she faltered, served what she thought was an ace to win the first set in the tiebreaker. Graf leads at 1-love. We could be here for a long while, folks.
Seats, please.
And don't forget, following this is Super Saturday. After this, it's Andre Agassi and Boris Becker. And after my match, those boys are still up in the locker room. I've been up in the locker room after our senior match. They're up there all ready and waiting. Becker's playing cards up there. Agassi's just joshing with Brad Gilbert, so he's getting his ears full from Brad. But they're just having fun, trying to keep one another relaxed. And Becker likes to play cards before he goes out onto centre court to keep his mind off stadium court until the time comes.
Super Saturday is such an incredible day. I remember 11 years ago, I think it was, when the matches started at 11 and finished about 11 o'clock that night. 12 hours of tennis. Cash and Lindell and Martina and Chris Evert and McEnroe and Connors. That was an unbelievable day. It's the 4th ace for Seles. Graf has served 6.
30-love. That's where Graf had 2 opportunities to go into the net quite comfortably on good approach shots, on solid stuff, that she would have had a pretty easy volley or a look at a volley, and she retreats to the baseline. I think in the next 12 months that type of play against Seles has to change if she's going to get on top. 40-15.
Two aces in one game. Takes her tally to 5. And consolidates the break. Just looking at their head-to-head again, in 9 of the 10 matches that they've played, the player who won the first set went on to win the match. The exception was the last time they met at the Australian Open in '93. Graf took that first set, and Seles came back and won the next 2.
Well, they both had pretty good paydays. I'm sure Tony's mentioned that to you, but the winner of this match here takes home $575,000 US. The runner-up, $287,500. But this match is a long way from over, in my opinion. One's long. 15-40 for a chance for 2 breaks. As Betsy said, it's all very well talking about Monica Seles coming back and smiling and being happy and wanting to play. But you get out there in a Grand Slam final, and at the other end of the court is Steffi Graf. You're not going to go out there unless you got blood on your knees. You're going to fight all the way, and she will. It's a double fault. Again, the serve going off a little now. It's 2 breaks. Seles leads 3-love. That's a look at the prize money. It's equal prize money over here for both the men's and the women's singles. 575, 287.5 for runner-up, 143,750 for the semis. And if you lose in the quarterfinal, that's $75,000 US. Just to get into the main draw, it's 8,500. And then on top of all that, the USTA, like the Australian Open or like Wimbledon or the French, they pay the players that are in the main draw a per diem. In most other tournaments, they take care of their accommodation and so forth. Here, they let them book in their own hotels and they pay them a per diem each day. So that covers pretty much their meals and their hotel. So it's not a bad life if you can get in the draw at the US Open. Seles on a roll now, Betsy.
She really is. She's continued to strike the ball so very well.
And you don't often find that after losing a tiebreaker in the first set, where she's got to be pretty disappointed because she thought she'd won it with the ace, and then to come back and lose the next 3 points to lose it. You feel rather down. You think, well, I should have won that darn thing, and you know, sometimes it slips away from you. Not here today with Seles. She's come back with a vengeance. 2 breaks now.
Good play from Seles. We've seen how effective the drop shot has been because both players hit the ball so hard, and they are able to push each other back behind the baseline, and they're a little bit back on their heels, and then you play a shot like this, the opponent's not even looking for it.
30-15.
Well, I wonder if Monica actually at the corner of her eye saw Graf hop to her left looking to play a forehand return a serve. Whatever, it was a very intelligent serve from Seles.
Seles has gone off the boil a little. I mean, Graf's gone off the boil a little. Seles just can't do anything wrong at the moment. Graf's missing with forehands. Served a couple of double faults. And suddenly, in no time at all, she's down 4-love.
I think we all forgot, really, with the 2.5-year absence of Monica Seles, just what she's made of internally. And when people were questioning how would Monica do the first few events back, I think very few people thought she'd be able to come back and compete like we have seen her compete. That she'd be a little bit rusty, not only with her game, but in the mental department, playing big points, but not at all. And Seles is one of the fiercest competitors I think the game has ever seen. Again, Seles so deadly with a ball that's left in the middle of the court.
Ready all. Break point now for Seles. Graf did not drop a serve in the first set. Neither player dropped a serve in the first set. Second set, Graf has yet to win one. That's it. 5 games to love. Seles leads. Second set. She lost the first.
I really didn't. Although, having said that, Graf played so very well in the first set that if she could have kept up her play, it would have been remarkable. And Seles, on the other hand, had a set point in the tiebreak and hit what she thought was an ace, and it got called fault, and Graf went on to win the next couple of points to win the set. But I think we're all huge believers in the way Seles can perform. But having said that, Graf has certainly proved that she's also very worthy in that department. She's really struggling right now with her forehand, and we've seen patches before when Graf is playing where her forehand will just go away. She hits it so big, it's a high-risk shot, so we've seen her make lots of errors before.
(30-15).
Just missed with that. On the changeover, it was interesting. Joni Essenmacher, the trainer, came running out to have a quick conversation with Steffi Graf. Graf has her left foot taped, and the effects of whatever's wrong with her left foot, she's denying, or it's not confirmed that it's a stress fracture or anything, but she definitely had some problems against Sabatini in the semifinals.
Boy, you can't get any closer than that. No argument from Graf on that, as that one clips the line. Seles stands at set point. Well, this is quite a remarkable set. 6 games to love from Monica Seles. This crowd erupts.
Well, they're ecstatic about getting a chance to see a third set. And this is what everybody hoped would happen, that the match would come down to the bitter end. It's got so many elements involved.
2 sets have taken an hour and 15 minutes. First set was 48 minutes. That set there, those 6 games, took all of 27 minutes for Seles. Hardly missed a ball. Down to the third and final set. Love 30. Graf somehow has to stop the rot. Has not won a serve since the end of the first set.
The last changeover, we saw Seles bending over, just stretching out a bit. And this is the first time in 11 matches that she has been forced to play 3 sets. And this was the big question mark. How would she hold up physically if someone pushed her to a third set?
Well, she's still smiling. I don't know whether she's there with it, Betsy, or whether that's just to let the crowd know she's having a bit of fun. But
well, her goal was to enjoy herself as hard as it could be and would be for her to get herself to the finals of her first Grand Slam back, only her second tournament in 2.5 years.
game point, Graf. Graf stops the rock. In trouble in that opening game. Holds 1-love, third and final set. Now we're going to be on air from, say, I would say about 11 o'clock through to about 8 o'clock. This is a short while ago here. You see Graf walking off the court. It basically was just to change his shirt. It's a lot easier for the guys to do that sort of stuff. At one stage here, they tried out one year. They had a little cubicle out there. They used to pull out from behind the back of the umpire's chair for the girls to zip in there and change their shirt or skirt, and it didn't quite work out. So if the girls want to do that, they've got to leave the court. And she's back on court now with a new shirt and trying to get comfortable in those shoes, I would think.
I think she also changed her socks. That's the left foot that she's got taped, and she had the trainer out here in her semifinal match certainly one time to retape it.
1 game to love. Graf trying to get the crowd to settle down as Seles is ready to serve.
Love 15.
Graf is the holder of 2 Grand Slams played this year, the French and Wimbledon, and she didn't play the Australian Open. It was won by Mary Pierce. Big hitting from Seles there. Seles is the winner of 8 Grand Slam titles. She won 7 of the last 8 that she played in with shots just like that. 10 Grand Slam events were played in Seles's absence. 6 of those were won by Steffi Graf. Steffi's total is up to 17, just 1 short of Chris Evert and Martina Navratilova.
Wide. Both women just still thrashing away with the ground strokes. Unbelievable pace of shot. This is the one that just barely misses. Created a terrific angle. 40-30.
Deuce.